Do you want to dance? Do you want to dance?
Everybody and his dog calls himself an outlaw.
Hey, hey, hey! Sorry for the delay. Anvil's a beast of a manufacturer, and I didn't pre-prepare properly. Every time I was like, oh, I got all the ships in it. Like, nope, I didn't. So, give me a moment still. Literally I just uploaded the video for the Astro Historian. It's going to release here at in about 30 minutes, so... All right. Sci-fi, 1 minute. Finish uploading it, and then we'll get started. All right. How y'all doing? Happy Anvil Day. Ethan Jock Comp. All right. Treesan, how you doing? All right, let's get to the bar. Of course, it's doing that thing again. Hold on. Camera. I have stealth technology, chat. Let me unzoom it a little bit. There we go. How you doing, y'all? Welcome. Oh, there you are. You're finally awake. How y'all doing? You already have an Odyssey. Okay, nice. Torn to keep the Carricks or CCU to a Nautilus. What do you want to do? That's always the question. I like the new Pisces. It's not the most exciting thing in the world, but it's literally a Pisces with a med bed, but it's cool. I mean, and as some of my someone in Discord pointed out, in my Discord pointed out, was like, you just take out the med part of the med bed and you have yourself a log out. You have yourself a variant, and I think you can still log out in med beds. If you can't, you should be able to. All right, so I'm gonna start inviting people in. So welcome to the lore tours, the floor lore tours. The floor tours is what I call them. Floor tours is where I kind of walk the floor of IAE or Invictus, in this case IAE, and show people around the various ships and kind of talk about the ships themselves and the history behind them and like what they are in the game right now. Let me see if I can invite some people. Just gonna invite everyone I know who usually likes this kind of stuff. Da 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 da. I think that's about it. There we go. Look cute in the red today, Paul. Thank you, Francisco. Try to look good for y'all. And CAG has officially acknowledged the galaxy by name, so we can talk about it openly now. A lot of lore for Anvil, eh? Yeah. Unsurprisingly, Anvil has a lot of lore. Most of these guides that have been written in terms of the Jump Point magazines have all been, like a lot of them have been, okay, so I've failed from Gem Pasta as well. Have all been from, or mostly been for Anvil. It's like Anvil. Aris side doesn't actually have a lot. Aegis has a lot. And I want to say the other big one is Crusader. The Crusader has a shit ton in there as well. How do you forge a great weapon? Use an anvil. Well, in theory, let me pull up my notes so I can tell you where anvil comes from. It's a quote, a historical quote in Star Citizen, used by a person who I have no fucking clue who they are. They just reference them. Robert Calvin's famous quote justifying UEE expansionism, that military spending fuels the furnaces of expansion and strikes the anvils of innovation. Thank you, Jamie. I always look this snazzy, y'all. For those of you who haven't been here for a while, welcome. I wear suits when I stream. Invite? Okay, I got you. Anybody else want an invite? Invite a bunch of people. Let me see who's on the Discord. Mute myself. So I think Drycon's on now. I saw he was on Discord or on Spectrum. Yeah, still on Spectrum, not in the game. Let's see. Phase Kitten, Treesan, Ghost, Imperial Nexus. I think we're good so far. So today's going to be a little shorter than usual because, meaning like I'm not going to wait as long to get started because I'm starting a little later. And also, we're also not going to be doing anything after... sorry, going through all my stupid... There we go. New smartwatch. Those are the things. I'm not going to be going afterwards to Darktide today. We'll do that tomorrow, and we'll do that on Friday. But today is just going to be this thing because I've got to go shopping with my brother-in-law. We're going to get some last-minute things for Thanksgiving, and then some other stuff that we need to pick up. Then... what else is there? Oh, Thursday I won't be streaming much because it's Thanksgiving. So I'll stream probably a little earlier. I'm going to try to take tonight and tomorrow to kind of get ahead on the writing and recording aspect of these videos. So all I have to do is like get the footage when the floor opens, and then I can get started editing. Because that's usually pretty good. But like today, I'm a little later because, hey, Serge, I'm a little later because I ended up not finishing up the writing last night. And so it took me about 3 hours to finish writing, about an hour to record, and about an hour and a half to get footage. So waking up at 6, getting back home at 7, and getting started at 8. Yeah, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1. Yeah, about right. And then I edited for about an hour and a half, so. Yeah, that's this week, man. That's just this week. This week is that kind of grind. Why do I look so yellow? I do not like to look yellow. Let me turn my yellowness down a little bit. I don't want to look pale, but... there we go. There we go. A little better. I thought holidays were supposed to be relaxing. Not when you're a content creator. It's not a holiday for content creation. Now I look like a White Walker. Okay. I don't, it doesn't seem like I'm looking that pale now. I still look kind of stuff. You tried to learn about the lore of Anvil. Anvil, big company. It's a huge company. It's massive. When I have an hour, when I have half an hour. Yeah, we need to go through Darsh because I think it got reset for a couple times. So to get that all locked in, so I know it somewhere else. All right, anybody else want in? It looks like we've got Wild Volus already in. Treesan is in. Phased Kitten is in. Mason is in. Imperial Nexus is in. Ghost is in. Drycon is not. I think Drycon's just listening then. Are we getting a Vandal version of Squadron 42, but from their perspective? I don't know. Possibly. You got to remember that Star Citizen and CIG only anticipated Star Citizen and the Squadron 42 series. Originally, Squadron 42 was just going to be one game. What we're getting is 1/3 of that final game. So we're going to get Squadron 42 Part 1, 2, and 3. And so this is but a third of the entirety of Squadron 42.
You can take away my spaceship.
Spaceship.
You can take away my space suit.
Suit.
You can even take away my space lasers.
No pew-pews.
But you can never,
Never.
ever take away my space game.
Drycon just resubscribed for 13 months.
Thank you so much for that 13 months of support there, Drycon. You are a very important popper, very impressive pisser, very new pedestrian. This is your fault. You're the reason why I drink a night. Shots and cheers and check it out. Shots and cheers. Hold on. Sorry, Darsh. I was getting in an argument with Halcyon on Twitter, as always. So, for those of you who don't know, the Anvil Carrick model by JRDF is on sale. They only have about 40 that they're selling. But I've seen this argument so many times, I'm just done with it. People are like, it's so expensive when you can just print it yourself. And it's like, then do it. Not everyone has access to $250 plus printer, plus has the need for, like, there's no point in buying a $250 printer just for printing one thing. Plus, there's, like, other things that JRDF does. Like, I know that they take the models and they actually clean them up to make sure that they print better. They have better quality printers. They have industrial printers, which are a little bit more higher resolutions. There's just a shit ton of things that they do that, like, you wouldn't see. Stuff. And they're in stock, yes. There's only like 40 of them right now. So, thank you, Darsh. They're on sale, Serge, because they ran out of them recently. Hey, Vorpal Robot. It was one of those things where whenever I hear that argument, because I'm for those of you who know me well enough, know I've been here more than once, know that I do Warhammer. So you hear this argument a lot in the Warhammer community, which is just buy a 3D printer and print your own armies and all these other things. And 3D printers are fine. But like people just shrug off the cost of a 3D printer. They're like, oh, you just buy a 3D printer. Like it's like $5. It's $250 plus the time and energy and reprints. It's not just 75 cents of resin. It's like a huge amount of setup. It's like just buy a game without having a PC. Yeah, space. There's lots of other factors that come into play. So it's like yours costs $500, and yours is probably a little bit better. Yeah. For $250, you could almost get a box of Cadian troops. Do I think they'll sell Expanse on Mistake? Of course they will, for 100%. Legion.
SPG_Legion just gifted 10 subs.
Thank you for gifting those subs there, this SPG Legion. You're a very important pupper, very impressive pisser, very good pedestrian. Thank you for gifting all those subs. Y'all rock. Shots and cheers and chat. Y'all shots and cheers. There we go. Again, for those of you turning in, we're about to be doing a tour, a floor tour, where we're going to go through and I'm going to talk to you about the history behind Anvil, the story, and then like the stories of the various companies and all that kind of stuff too. So if you have a printer, you might not need to buy the model, but it does. But most don't, and have a quality printer to build it the same. To be honest. Yeah, that's the point. It's like I'm not here to like shit on 3D printers. 3D printers are amazing. And the fact that there's like consumer grade 3D printers is fucking great. Like anyone with a decent computer and a 3D printer can make almost anything. Yeah, like figurines is nice, but you can make things like household stuff that you wouldn't be able to make anymore. You can make things that are like tools or other. There's lots of cool shit you can do with a 3D printer that like opens up a huge avenue of things that people can do on their own. Which is why I know a lot of people think it's like the future. But I also hear the argument so often. It's like, oh, anything is expensive that you can 3D print. Just 50 cents of resin and I can have that tomorrow. It's like, no, you don't. No, you can't. So I just recently printed a 1 to 10 statue as a present. Cost me $10 for the 3D model, $30 for the resin, but also about 10 hours of prep just for post-processing. So even at a minimum wage, let's just say minimum wage in the United States is $7.50. I know you're not in the United States, but let's just say $7.50 an hour. So that $10 or that 10 hours of you doing that. Pull the calculator. Because I am bad at math. Yeah. Calculator's the wrong place. 750 times 10. So you spent about $110 of time and money. The equivalent of $110 to print that model. That's all right, True-san. Yeah, tour. Just brought all the halls of Fendor models from GW rather than getting my wife to print them. I mean, yeah. That's okay. Thank you for hanging out, Max. Yeah, I'm gonna go through the medical variant a little bit to kind of talk about it. Yeah, $7.50 is very low for the minimum wage. That's the national minimum wage for the United States. The average wage is $15. If we take the average wage of like $15 times 10 hours, that's $150. So it costs Darge almost $200 to print a statue which I'm sure he could probably purchase the statue. So I'm sure somebody else has that 3D model and has printed it out already for about that same price. Online. I got you, Q-Man. So that's my long way of saying people always discount the amount of work and effort and like energy it requires to do 3D printing. Not that 3D printing is wrong, and 3D printing is fucking amazing. You know, as a hobbyist who does a lot of miniature stuff, I'd love to have a 3D printer just because I could print like out-of-date models from GW or my own themes for different things like Star Wars Legion or Battletech. I'd like to get into Battletech, but I can't because it's fucking sold out everywhere. If I had a 3D printer, I could print my own goddamn models. Fucking 15 different unique commandos. Let's go. Thank you, Max, for watching it. Yeah, and you support small businesses. That's true. So, like most of my like every one of my local gaming stores is owned by a small, like a family. So it's always nice to go out there and help them out. It's $7.25, so it's actually lower than $7.50. Okay, I was wrong. That's still close to goddamn $100. It's over $100. I think it's that time. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with supporting 3D modelers on Patreon either. Even like the site where the old man Hurston portraits went out to good places. Yeah, yeah. We only sold about I only made about $40 on it, but hey, $40 going to what the service was. I have to ask Algrid again what it was. I think it was Alzheimer's that we ended up going to. Because that was the idea we were going to go to, and I was like, "Oh, do something else." So, yeah, the minimum wage in the United States is $7.50. Some states have their own minimum wage, but like the average in like Austin, where I live, is $15 an hour. Minimum $15 an hour if you're going to get anyone to work. I should make a 3D printed old man Hurston. There we go. I should start my own line of 3D printed figurines for Warhammer for Star Citizen 30,000. Star Citizen 30K. I'm sorry. Solar Civilian 30K. No, whenever you see like the 3D models, which are totally like 3D representations of actual like models that GW makes, that it's always like Peace Mace 20,000 or 40 million. Star Person, yes. No, it'd have to be like the opposite. It's like solar civilian. Yeah, I think it's just solar civilian models. Can't remember if it was for Alzheimer's. I remember that. I can't remember the name of the group, but I remember that there was two groups that Algrid was mentioning, but I can't remember which one we ended up donating it to. "3D print it like a Mozart bust and paint it white." I was just wondering, are you in 40K or AOS as well? I do 40K because it's what I got into when I was a kid, and then I got back into it. I've looked at AOS. I haven't done look into a lot of the lore of AOS, but it's one of those things where I've got so many stacks of plastic that I want to get through that I'm not going to get into AOS until I do so. And besides, the army that I really want to get into with AOS is the lizard men. I can't remember what they're called. The Seraphim or something like that. The Seraphon. And they don't even have Codex out yet. They don't even have Battletome out yet. So there's no point. You've been doing a lot of Middle Earth. I've seen the BMMTs in the video yesterday. I saw a little bit of it. Yeah. We haven't got it started yet. I'm going to double check to make sure if there's anybody else here. Looks like we're good. Q-Pan is here. Phase. Outlaw Night 0. I gotta get Outlaw Night. Let's get Outlaw Night in. All right. When they both get in, we'll get started. You love the Nighthawk Army? Well, I made the mistake of explaining at least a little bit of it of the lore to Cam, and Cam's like, so I'm like, when you do an AOS army, don't you want dinosaurs riding on dinosaurs? And she's like, no, I want Slaanesh. Because Slaanesh, because dudes for Slaanesh. Age of Sigmar just seems like I have to relearn my preconceived fantasy land. I mean, you got to remember that Warhammer Fantasy was based off of Dungeons and Dragons. So, we're launching in.
Looks like it.
It's yeah, GW used to like actually ship Dungeons and Dragons. It used to be a supplier for Dungeons and Dragons in the UK, and when that changed, they started making their own stuff, and that's why Warhammer Fantasy exists, and or existed. And it's basically their take on Dungeons and Dragons, which is a lot more darker, which is where the grimdark stuff comes from. All right.
I had so many issues with the bed not wanting to let me go yesterday.
Yeah, it happens a lot.
On a fresh server, especially.
They throw chaos in the mix, yeah. Is it all based off token anyways? Yep. But that's like saying, you know, all European religions are based off of Proto-European religions that existed, you know, thousands of years ago before. It's like, yeah, but they're not the same religion. No one would say they are. Maybe the Romans would. But that's because the Romans are crazy. Let's just talk about making Warhammer. Yeah, it's called Old Hammer or something like that. The Old World, Warhammer: The Old World is what it's called, and it's already in. It's kind of like the Horus Heresy of the Warhammer Fantasy now. If those of you know Warhammer Horus Heresy, it's kind of a side project to 40K, where it like takes place before during the big event of 40K. But I have no joke played with the idea of doing a tabletops version of Star Citizen, either as a role playing game or as a doing like Sadaball as its own tabletop version, kind of taking inspiration from things like Blood Bowl and other fantasy football kind of leagues, and or like skirmish combat, kind of like taking Star Marine, turning it into its own figurines.
Hey, Paul, this is not Dark Tide.
No, it's not. It's actually Star Citizen, like I'm supposed to.
Stop pushing!
Alright, I'm gonna go play Dark Tide. Catch you later.
Later, execute. Hey, if I remember correctly, the daily war bonds are available again during the Best in Show. We don't know that. Maybe. Allocate 30Ks.
Yep. Pretty much.
The only problem I have with Sadaball is that it's technically done in a 3D environment, and it's really difficult to do 3D environments, replicate 3D environments in tabletop games. Because it gets confusing quickly.
Up, down, left, right.
Well, because like you like
BA start.
have you ever tried what is it? Have you ever tried like a good solid D&D game where like you have to deal with flying minis, like flying mobs?
Yeah.
And you have to like judge the distance and height.
Or you have one of those transparent stackable pillars and platforms. Mm.
Invite Teach again.
I got stuck on the train.
No.
Public
Yeah.
transport, fuck yeah.
The inner door closed on me. The outer door closed on me before I could get out.
Oh, did you try crawling through it?
It just wouldn't let me go through it. It was
Did you try crawling through it?
No.
no.
It probably didn't have enough time. Those things go pretty quickly. They mentioned Saddleball for a long... They haven't mentioned Saddleball for a long time, right? They've mentioned Saddleball fairly recently in lore, which tells me that they're still planning on putting it into the game.
Apex Hall.
The one big thing that we're waiting for with Saddleball is the new push-pull system. And guess what's in development? What we've seen. So... I expect CIG, or I expect the Arena Commander team to do crazy shit with that new push-pull system. I was looking for something in the background, and I heard the tube arrive at the station. And I thought it was shit. I need to get off the train. How do you make mini float? Yeah, you got to use a pain. Yeah. Let me get a drink real quick, because I need to hydrate. Stay hydrated, chat.
Let me know if there's anything I can help you with.
I'm consuming it through my forehead. That's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
Osmosis.
I love me some PPC. Oh yeah, did you see this, by the way? Looks like a terminal for a physical payment system.
That one? Yeah. The one that she has right there?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, it does say credit on it.
It's just the Kovalex, the weird Kovalex stream.
Hi. Thanks for coming in.
Ooh, she's hiding shit back here. She got snazzle sticks and...
Yeah, I saw that.
Write that out.
Wait,
right.
What's this? This is a new drink? Oh, mellow citrus. It's just a prop. You can't buy it. It's like
it's Pips.
blue can with a orange on it.
Oh. It looks like Pips to me. Oh. Oh yeah, mellow citrus. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. Already been here once, so it'll be pretty easy. Gather around. Wait to see if we got anybody else. We got TJ and Walvola, so that seems to be it. Everyone seems to be good. Oh, Mason's will be well. We'll wait for Mason for a little bit and Phased. Star Citizen board game when? I don't know, man. At the AstroPub, do you know which... Yeah, meet up on the Atari sign. You know which... what state the Expanse is in? Not even pre-release yet. They haven't even finished the concept of it, I'm pretty sure. Hydrate or dihydrate? Ah, plastic. How do you quick drink? Once you have a drink in your hand, left click on your mouse. That lets you quick drink.
Yep.
You gotta hold it down, though. You can't just click it.
Yeah, you can click it. Yeah, clicking just does a sip, but holding it will down the entire can, or for as long as you hold it.
Yeah, if you click once, it'll do the one drink animation. But if you hold it down, then you'll drink the whole thing until you stop. Now we still got some time because we still got TJ and a bunch of other people who are in like Orbit and Phase Kitten who are going to be a bit. So
you want to come bring a nice ship to go and lower the FPS a little near the comments.
Luckily, we're several kilometers below the surface, and the surface has been unloaded.
How to start drinking, get married, have kids. Okay. Thank you. I thought you'd have to look at it, hold F and sip at one time. Nah, you just click down left hold. Yeah, assuming the game will actually let you equip a drink. That is also true.
Yeah. And anything you can carry that has an action, left click and will do the primary action.
Yeah.
So a gun will fire, for instance.
While we're waiting, I'm going to go check out the C8R, and you can also check out the C8R because there's 3 of them here. But to show off chat. So if you haven't seen this already, this comes in insane.
Skin.
There are so many skins for this thing now. Like there's like 7 that they added. So first off, it is got an actual airlock system.
Do you know? Do the skins work on the other versions of the C8?
They
Yes.
do.
They do.
Ooh, that's fancy.
I got the blue one on my C8X, but I can't open it because the C8X, the button they added to open and close, it's broken. It's just not there.
Oh, yeah.
You have to reset your account in order to fix that.
By the way, you can steal everything inside here. By the way, grab some water. So
Mine
you want
was
free water
gone for the first day, but came back after that. Last I looked.
Did you have to reset?
I did not reset.
Okay, maybe tomorrow then. Wild Volus, can you log out from the bed? Or is it just get up?
Snacks. Oh, just double checking my mic. I am not able to find the option to log out. Just sit and lie down.
Damn it. They need to make those easier. But yeah, then you also have this, so I can go like, okay, what does Wild Volus have going on? Let's go. Patient care.
There's also free drugs in the cabinet.
Yeah, free drugs in the cabinet. Free drugs. Free drugs.
There's storage above the counter as well.
Can we set to here as a respawn?
No. No, because it's a tier 3. Oh.
Okay, I'm on the bed.
They all have free drugs. They all have the stretcher beds.
Hold on. I'm getting damaged. It's a good thing we're in a medical Pisces.
Yes.
Best expo center ever.
Patient care. Let's see. You have 0.
Anvil's giving free drugs to everyone.
Dr. Dashnator is giving me a clean bill of health, so I guess I can make my way to the expo.
Right,
You also got them glow sticks.
They have them glow sticks as well. Did someone say free drugs? Yeah, you can't log out in the massage bed. You cannot log out in the in the R.
So I got Paul. I got a little message from JR. If you and your fellow listeners would be interested.
Sure.
For 31st January, we're planning to launch MSR, Cutlass Blue, Gladiator, Saber, Vanguard, and a few other little ones.
Oh, for the 500 scale, 1 to 500 scale.
Yeah.
Saber and Vanguard. I'm definitely interested in the Vanguard over 1 to 500.
2 words. Distress bacon.
MSR will be like a mini kit. Not a full-on kit, but also all are in 1 to 500. Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely
the rest are like fully assembled.
Just so it's like the
dioramas.
The dioramas. Well, it's like the Cutlass and the Freelancer, which you have to you had to add a couple of parts to it.
Yeah, just a couple of parts. It's not like a full-on kit with like 30 parts. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll have to pick it up on the 31st. Save some money for that. Need a JRDF Valkyrie? Yes. So now with Fridge Tech back and working in game, what's your new opinion of the Redeemer? It's a garbage can with a discarded fridge inside of it. That's what it is.
And 29th January we'll have a stream to announce all that. So
Paul started stealing the drug just the second when he found some alone time in the C8. You can take the smuggler out of smuggling, but you can't take the smuggling out of the smuggler. All right, it's just free drugs. All right. I don't have to pay for shit. I'm to take it.
Someone did the drugs sound.
Yes, they've already done so several times. Let me see. You can loot Expo ships. You can only loot them if they have if they come standard with that stuff in it. There we go. Is the Cutlass Red Tier 3 as well? Yes. The Cutlass Red is Tier 3, but the advantage of the Cutlass Red is it has 2 Tier 3s. So if there's like a mass casualty incident, or you're reporting to a place where there's multiple people hurt, you have a chance to get them all out. You can think of the Cutlass Red as the ambulance, and like a traditional ambulance, and this is kind of like an emergency airlift system.
Fast response EMS.
Kind of like those fire trucks, those fire vehicles, which are just like a truck, like a Tahoe, Chevy Tahoe, or something like that.
No, dude. In Europe, there are several fire departments that have Smart 42s as fire trucks.
Will the C8R spawn with consumables inside? It should, probably.
They only fit a stepladder on the roof.
You have a what?
That's a high level of safety.
No. It's such a tiny vehicle. You can only fit a stepladder on it. You know.
Where's OSHA when you need it?
Mason's almost
Is
here.
this guy trying to navigate through the people?
Yes, he is.
Cutlass Red also has more range, larger component sensors. Yeah, it's got a size 2 jump drive, which makes it a lot more longer range and more efficient. There's a lot of other things. And the thing that the Cutlass Red has that a lot of people don't realize is that it's got an insane scanning array. The Cutlass Red is Drake's exploration ship in that size category. A lot of people don't realize that.
Yeah, and instead of the turret, it has a spotlight search.
Yeah. Well, that spotlight search thing is also a scanner, and it has it's like 125% the range of a typical scanner, so it gives you a little bit better scanning capabilities. Space Gauntlet tested the respawn with goodies inside and said it did not. Ah, shit, that sucks. What model of vehicles is that fire truck you're speaking of, Darsh? I didn't quite hear what you said. Oh, Smart 42. Okay, that's a smart car. It's a smart car, is what you're saying. Anyone who knows what a smart car is knows what we're talking about. Very tiny.
It's like the roof lights are almost as big as the car.
Yeah. I think there's some places in the U.S. where that was banned. The smart car was banned because it was causing a lot of accidents because people were driving it recklessly through streets.
That's the same mentality that banned Kinder Surprises. It's because there's a food in it, and poor little child is gonna deep throat the entire egg and choke on it.
The actual answer is it's banned because of the regulations that exist on plastics and food, which means you cannot have any inedible object in the food. It's not like kids choked on it.
It's just in the food.
But it's inside of the egg.
It is surrounded by the food, yeah.
But it's basically the regulations existed for that reason, is to protect people, and they're like, we're not going to make an exception for Kinder Surprise, even though you know who owns Kinder, right?
Nestle.
Yes.
No.
You know who owns
really?
Nestle? Yeah, you know who owns Nestle?
No.
Disney. It may just be Nestle. I don't think. I know that they work together often, so I always find it funny that Kinder.
Kinder's owned by Ferrero, not Nestle. Unless Ferrero is owned by Nestle.
Ferrero might be owned by Nestle. It's one of those things of those nesting dolls. Like everything's owned by everything. Check under your ship if you're not moving.
No, actually it's the other way around. Ferrero bought Nestle's American confectionery business.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good because I like Kinder and I hate Nestle. So
And Kinder exists in the United States. They have them in checkouts all the time.
just not the surprise.
No, Kinder Surprise.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they just package them differently. So instead of inside
that's the Joy.
Yeah, the Joy. Yeah, you have the Joy here. Ferraro's independent. Okay. Because I know they like in the United States, they like all the Joys are all Disney themed. So it's like, that sounds familiar. Who does that? Oh yeah, Nestle did that in the past.
No, it's just collabs.
Yeah. Is there any way to upgrade the C8X that comes with a Carrick? No. I do not believe. I don't think you can go in and upgrade it individually because it's not a individual ship. There might be.
No,
but I'm not the person to talk about it.
sold with the ship, so yeah.
I double checked, so my package is a Carrick with the C8X. The only next upgrade is the BMM. I don't have an option to upgrade the...
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
I think you can upgrade the individual ships if it's in a package, but if it's part of a ship, you can't upgrade it individually.
We'll just have to buy the Pisces medical one in-game when it's out.
So you can't change it to a medical or only buy another C8X? Yeah, basically. You can't update it to a medical. You have to buy it separately.
Which is dumb. I'll talk to Galactica about it. Maybe there's some way around it.
Maybe we could talk to C Daddy. C Daddy, I don't know if he's here or not, but C Daddy's the one who's in charge of that sort of thing. He's got the platform issues, so.
Right. We'll wait until he pops up.
It's Proxys's job. So go talk to Proxys. if you want to know the name.
Sure.
Is the C8 that comes with the Carrick, isn't that supposed to be part of the ship's...
It's part of the ship.
As itself?
Yeah, it's part of the ship as itself. It's not a package. Yeah. Apparently, they sent out an email with a $5 coupon for those who already own the Pisces. So... It'll be so cheap in game, folks. Yeah, that's the other thing. Thank you, Abdi. How you doing, Abdi? I never see Daddy. Right now, those are the loners.
When it's in game, it'll be very cheap. Like the C8X is 400,000. So,
yeah, it's super cheap.
And you can apply skins to in-game purchased ships, right? If you buy a skin from the website, because it's just like a physical can of paint in your inventory right now.
I believe so.
Yeah, it's paint. You should be able to apply any skin on one ship that exists on one ship in a line to any other ship. So like, the older ones are the exception, but anything that exists post paint, the paint rework, any skin that exists post paint rework can be transferred to any of those.
Yeah.
So. Good. Just burning a couple minutes before heading home from work. 6 minutes of company wasted time. Hey, they're the ones who want to have you work 2 days before Thanksgiving and expect you to do any kind of work. No, I can't shit on people too much because I get the idea of like, hey, we need you to come in and work because we may have some work to do, but we probably won't. But we're still going to pay you to just sit here. God bless the infinite loading screen. Probably the 15th CTD today. Damn. Yeah, I haven't had that many CTDs. I had one CTD this so far, and I've had a couple of 30Ks, but I haven't had that much of an issue. Thankfully. Unfortunately, like 2 of the 3 30Ks I had was in the middle of me trying to film stuff for the video. I'll be super busy tomorrow and just before Thanksgiving. Yeah, same here. We won't be. I think I'll be doing a little bit more streaming stuff tomorrow, so I'll be doing like Dark Tide after. I'll do this again, and then we'll do Dark Tide for a little bit. But like Thursdays, I normally do office hours. Probably not doing office hours on Thursday.
Thursday's Thanksgiving. I would not expect you to do office hours on Thanksgiving, Paul.
Yeah.
Take a day off.
I'll take.
Enjoy the holiday.
I'm not going to take a day off until I'm not taking off day off from streaming until after the
Thanksgiving.
holiday. So, hey, Morad. Yeah, if you want to try to join us, Shori. If you can join us, jump in on us, you can. Because I think everyone's here now. So if you want to jump in, I know FaZe is still coming over here. So if you can come over here, you're good. Blue variant is only available for Chairman's Club. Must resist.
The rescue
it looks
one
so
looks
pretty.
really cool.
Yeah.
Whatever the other one is, the white and red.
They all look pretty good. I like them.
I like them the most out of any other skin besides these alien.
Yeah, they have the best. They have the best versions.
Anodized aluminium and everything, please, Sig. That cold blue one looks exactly like anodized
want another
aluminium.
polar skin. I like.
So yes.
Timberline.
I like the bipolar skin.
So you can get the code blue. There's the 4-paint pack. Then there's the responder paint, which looks good. There's the heartbeat paint, which looks great. There's the Nightbreak paint, which looks good. There's this, and there's the Scrubland paint. Like all of those are good. Oh yeah, the other ones are old G's. The
Scrubland and
Nightbreak. Yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, the Heartbreak beat, the Responder, and then the regular red it comes with.
They are pretty. They look very
the blue.
They look very like they're supposed to be on a Pisces. Awesome.
We're gonna give away one of those sometime this week as well, because I bought one. Because of course I bought one.
Heartbeat looks like it's supposed to be a hot dog salesman with a ketchup and mustard skin.
Why did you do that? That was my favorite one.
It's my favorite one too, but it looks like a lot of European fire responder.
It totally does. It totally does.
And the responder one, the responder one looks just like an American ambulance. So. And the blue is obviously, I don't remember where that is, but I've seen it in the United States. I've seen it overseas too. The code blue.
Oh yeah, I think that's the Mountain Dew code blue.
Yeah, that's right. I've seen it.
Very well known.
The code blue, Mountain Dew. All right. Pull this up real quick. I'm gonna see if it's giftable because I definitely purchased it to give it away, and it is definitely giftable. You can definitely give the standalone with blue paint, but that's about it.
Moral, super chatted $1.86.
Who won the ship showdown again this year?
Carrick.
Pisces, Carrick. Oh, completely won?
Hey!
Carrick, yeah.
Thank you for that 20 MAD. Sheba Dog. Oh, yeah. Thank you for that $20 there. Morad. How you doing? Guess I'll have to settle with YouTube settle with YouTube. Crashed again. Sorry, Mrs. Thor. Code Blue is totally Paul Blart Galleria cop.
Look at the light bar right above the...
I'm just an old-fashioned cowboy.
But it's just the one light bar.
Yeah.
TJ's almost here too.
Cool thing is that can go into some of the really nice the smaller caves that you can't fit a larger ship in.
Yeah.
Here's
the
thing.
thing.
Medical missiles as well.
Here's the secret. Thank you, Murad, for that $50. That's insane. Thank you. That is nuts.
Moral,
That'd be funny if you actually had medical
$4.66.
missiles. You could shoot them and make people heal.
Paul, you are the
like
best.
nanite missiles.
Aerial effect medpen.
Oh, thank you for becoming a member
Just
as well.
a big back the tank.
We'll just make all the signs that spell out guns.
Yeah.
You do some math, shoot it.
I'm imagining the I
just see a med gun, but huge.
There was an image that Noodle posted of Oh gosh, who was it? Oh,
Paul can't brain today. He's got dumb.
I've got the dumb. I'm trying to remember the name, and I'm blanking on it because it's Cutlet.
I'm blanking too.
Cutlet. Space Cutlet. There's an image of Space Cutlet that Moist Noodle took of a torpedo that was through Space Cutlet's character's torso. And so that's all I'm thinking about when you say medical missiles. I'm just like, I'm gonna hit you with a medical torpedo. You'll feel so good after this. Oh, your T. Okay.
I'm not going to go through the innuendos on that.
All of the innuendos and the outurendos.
Okay, the face skin looks like she's in the lobby.
I actually don't see phased, so.
Just above your head, 3,800 meters.
Yeah, I'm alive. I couldn't see you guys for a second.
Oh yeah, what happened to that wandering Bob on the show floor? It transformed into a woman and disappeared. It was like a Japanese myth. It was like a Korean mythology. A bomb shows up and then transforms into a woman and then becomes the emperor of like...
It's that damn nine-tailed fox again.
Yeah.
I've seen that anime.
Yeah. Shoot them with the laser of suturing, then bathe them in antiseptic soaker. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a quote from Elden Ring.
You shouldn't accidentally walk into a Japanese commercial video. Wacky and zany, possibly. Coupon, limited edition, and Chairman's Club exclusive. CIG pulling out all the FOMO stops on this one. Yeah. Here's the secret. If CIG thinks it'll make them money again in the future, they'll sell it again. This is not the last time you'll see any of these paints. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah, that's why I love it. It feels equal somewhat. I like that for old players and new.
Mm-hmm.
I still go and buy every single one and then melt them.
The color blue is typically associated with credibility, trust, knowledge, power, professionalism, cleanliness, calm, and focus. Blue is an ideal choice for medical logos. Yeah. I remember there are some ambulances that use blue over the red and white. So, hey, Uri. How you doing, buddy? We're going to see the Spirit as a surprise when Crusader Day comes. No, we're not going to see any surprises that of ships that have already been announced. The only surprises we'll see is unannounced ships, which I guess technically is no longer the case because who else is it? No, they're just popping in. If they do resell them, they won't be in LTI. LTI is absolutely worthless. Anyone who's like, oh, but I want LTI. No, you don't. Why do you care? The only reason why you should care about LTI is if you have a fleet of like 1,000 ships. Because what you'll have to do is you'll have to pull out your ship and go, oh, I lost its insurance. I'll have to pay insurance on this ship for another 6 months of real time. The ship that I only use a handful of times.
There's just too many uncertainties with insurance.
CIG has not been precise on some of the details of insurance, but they've always said their plans for insurance, which is it's going to be not a big issue for players to get. That LTI isn't a huge deal in the general, and it's only going to cover base insurance anyways. So it's like when I hear people say, oh, you need to get an LTI like starter pack. My thought is, why? It's a starter ship. Yeah, it'd be nice not to have to pay like fees on that at all in the future, but you're not going to be using it as your main ship. How will insurance work really? So the general idea of insurance, which hasn't changed at all, is that you will pay in-game money for a certain amount of months. And those months will then be, it will cover your ship to refund back to you for basic insurance. And then there's going to be more advanced options of insurance, which will cover things like components you purchased after the fact and or even cargo you had. So, more of it. But it's going to cost you more money per like item. So you either pay it like 6 months in advance, this sort of things. And it's not designed as a punishment. It's designed as a money sink. So it's something you have to pay on pretty frequently in order to reduce the money in your wallet. Because unlike real life, we don't have to spend a lot of money in games on things that we need for daily life. So games have to find ways of forcing players to spend money, because if they don't, you have people hoarding wealth. And when you have people hoarding wealth, you have what we see happening right now in the world, which is called inflation, where more people have more money, which means they have more resources, which means the prices can go up. It's a very basic concept of inflation with video games, but it's been a problem ever since the first MMOs existed. So Star Citizen was built from the beginning with these money sinks, is what they're called, specifically to mitigate inflation in the game. There's also going to be things like docking fees. You're going to have to pay rent or like a lease or some kind of money to keep like a bed at a landing zone if you want a bed at a landing zone. There'll be taxes on transactions. There'll be other things you'll have to do, which are just small sections and percentages of your income, which shouldn't be overwhelming, but be enough to make it like make you not have to like, you won't be like able to like hold a shit ton of money all the time. When if you exercise the policy with a claim, will it consume the policy? I don't think so. Fun fact, while I was curious about the name code blue on the C8R, turns out it's a medical code for unexpected cardiac arrest. Yeah, I knew code blue is a medical term. That's what the joke is, but taxes on transactions, yeah.
So, Paul, just want to say thank you. You managed to help us sell 4 Carricks.
Oh, 4. So that means there's only, what you're saying is, I'm going to do the FOMO thing. You're saying there's only 36 Carricks left.
There were actually 3 also sold before the stream started. So there's actually more. So we started off with 42. We sold 1, 2, 3, 4, 6.
6. So you have slightly more. Okay.
36 left.
36 left. Insurance likely won't be that expensive, but having lifetime insurance means you don't pay for it. Only the basic stuff, not the advanced stuff. I'm good. Got back from visiting my family late last night. I've been working all day, catching up on work. Your shorts included. I haven't been to IAE yet, hoping for tomorrow. You missed Origin Day, your favorite day. But other than that, yeah. It's been pretty uneventful, except for the sales. They haven't really, and the Jack stuff has been pretty cool. So, all right, I think we're good. I don't see anybody else. So I'm gonna clear the party and then start the recording. All right. Welcome back to the floor of IAE 2952. I'm here with the floor tour. You can see here that all of these folks are here to take a tour on Anvil Aerospace Day here on the floor. It's a big day. It's a big day. Anvil has a lot of ships and a lot of lore and a lot of other things going on with it. So remember, if you've been enjoying these all this week, we do this every day. Come on, join us at 3 p.m. Eastern. Every day that they have these tours going on to up until Saturday, and we will be touring the floor. So hopefully, if you're new to Star Citizen or if you're interested in Star Citizen, this can help you out a little bit. I've heard some people say it's kind of overwhelming to go to the floor, but hopefully these will help you pare down some of the ideas of what these ships are and what they do and how it functions, as well as a little bit of background on some of the stories of these ships. So with that being said, let's talk a little bit about Anvil Aerospace. So Anvil Aerospace is complicated because Anvil Aerospace isn't actually the first version of Anvil Aerospace. The first version of Anvil Aerospace was actually called Case Aerospace, started by a man by the name of Leonard Case. Now, Leonard Case is interesting because he was the dude who created the prototype that would eventually, or the blueprint that would eventually become the modern Aurora. It was called the Starbright 3000 or something like that. But he worked for RSI as a ship designer. He managed to make this super easy to control, simple ship in 2603, or like 2600. And he managed to design, get it released, and then quit. Because he hated the bureaucracy at RSI. He thought that the bureaucracy at RSI was the biggest problem with the company itself. He famously said something to the effect of, when it's harder for designers to actually design, then you've got a problem. So that is how is, the evolvement, the creation of Case Aerospace, where he founded his own company specifically to do that. So he created something that's similar to what we could consider today as Aurora, maybe like a competitor called the Cosmos Sloop in 2604, which did okay. The problem was that it, it's 26. 2604, yeah, 2604, which did fine, but it was just a year before the outbreak of the Second Tavaran War. So, yeah, it didn't do well because people were not concerned with buying ships. So, but this was a blessing in disguise, because Case was then able to get a contract from the UAE military to build a ship to counter the new phalanx shields. And what Case built was the Hurricane. That did really well. The Mezzers were very impressed, and after the war ended, the Mezzers gave Case Aerospace the contract to build a patrol ship specifically to replace the aging Perseus. But, tragically, Leonard Case died in an air collision in 2615, and while the company tried to move on without him, the Navy wasn't interested in continuing to make the Hurricane, and the contract was dropped from their break. They lost the contract. So Case Aerospace closed in 2623 and was added to the roster of some investment firm. Flash forward to the mid-28th century. A man by the name of J. Harris Arnold, as a kid growing up, wants to be a spacecraft engineer, finds the works of Leonard Case, falls in love with them, and decides that he's going to make ships in the same style and as an homage to the old Case Aerospace ships. He does so and forms his own company that we know as Anvil Aerospace in 27... Looking at my dates. In 2772. Now, this was specifically to make military ships because Arnold was very, very dedicated to the Hurricane. Big favorite ship. So that didn't do so well with the Mezzers, but in 2792, the Mezzers were overthrown. And during this readjustment of the new UAE, Anvil stepped forward to become the favorite son of all these new military manufacturers when they produced the Terrapin. That eventually got them the license to produce the Hornet, which became their big break. And since then, Anvil has become the darling of the UAE, getting lots and lots of contracts for military ships. In fact, they've been going on placed a lot of it. So, all right, with that, it's a tour, my bad, dude. It's a tour.
Oh, more comfy.
All right. With that being said, let's move on to the Terrapin. Let's take a look at the first thing, Terrapin. This is what happens when you do live recordings like this.
And not do a foil, because I think people just walking by would have been, interested to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, but can't really do FOIP like this. So, sadly, because it's not useful.
Intimidation usually works.
All right, so this is the Anvil Terrapin. So the Terrapin was first produced in 2795, I believe, towards the end of the 28th century. It was the first Anvil ship to be produced, and it is a picket ship. The idea is that this ship goes out in front, scans for a bunch of areas, and is kind of a stand-in for the military sending out a capital ship, because it's got these overcharged sensors, and it's very beefy and protected. This ship was so well designed that you see these flaps right here? Those are not flaps. Those are vents. This ship has so much armor on it that it overheats. So it needed a vent to be able to release some of the heat while it was operating, because it would get super, super hot. And it's called coming up for air is what they do. But this is a crew of 1 to 2. It's got an expansive scanning suite, and was fairly loved. It's supposedly very easy to maintain, very rugged, and forgiving sort of ship. So after many of the Anvil, veterans who flew the Anvil Terrapin, after they left the service, many of them purchased a Terrapin after the fact. So with this, let's move on to the scam ship, the literal scam ship, the Gladiator. So this is the T8. Yep. So the T8, also known as the T3 Gladiator, has an interesting story behind it. So towards the end of the 29th century, a group of up-and-coming starter scientists, engineers, created a missile, a torpedo called the MVT, the MVT, which is like the multi-vector torpedo. This torpedo supposedly could be undetected on scanners, could evade attacks and guide itself as long as it had a targeting solution, and could skip past shields. It was this ultimate wonder weapon of like great proportions. But there was something wrong with it. Still, during the development of this, the Navy immediately bought onto this to test it and try it, but they didn't have a ship that could actually function with it. So they tapped Anvil to build them a ship for that purpose. That became the Gladiator. The Gladiator was, you see this spar right here in the front? That is actually a targeting array. That's the same targeting array that was designed to fire the multi-vector torpedo, the MVT. That's what this was designed for. So this would effectively point at a target and allow it to kind of laze the target as it would go in. Because no other ship was really designed for this sort of thing, and no ship was like, the Retaliator was too big, wasn't really well suited for it. This was a problem. So they built this Gladiator. The issue is that once they got to the testing phase, they found out that the torpedo was a giant scam. It was just a normal torpedo with a bunch of off-the-shelf parts slapped onto it. It didn't work. There was nothing like it. So they built this big, expensive ship, and actually had started their own production runs on it before they actually knew that the missile would work. So the Navy, instead of admitting defeat, decided to double down and declare that they were going to completely revolutionize how torpedo bombing works by changing this into a carrier-based torpedo bomber. And then didn't give it any support, because it's got a turret, right? That turret can work. No, it doesn't. It does not work for what you think it does. And to make matters even worse, because the Navy already knew this was a joke of a ship, they only put the worst of the worst pilots on Gladiator duty. So the Gladiators became the absolute, like, bane of the Navy. They were just absolutely crapped upon by everyone until the Navy realized that they could improve training and they could actually utilize these ships the way they're supposed to be used as carrier bombers. And slowly, but they kind of rehabilitated their image. And groups like the Black Crows of Squadron 214, this is their primary ship. Now, this also has gotten a lot of work from the civilian market because of this. This modular bay here, or this bay here, this holds torpedoes, is actually modular. You can swap out this bay for a number of different accessories. Some of them are post-market civilian add-ons. For instance, there are Gladiators that are used to literally bomb clouds to do weather control, cloud seeding. There are Gladiators that are used as search and rescue craft, as command and control craft. Various different options they're done with this modular bay. And this ship has a lot of guns, even for its size. 4 size 3s, 2 controlled by the pilot, 2 controlled by the gunner, plus just a ton of missiles. So it's a fairly effective ship for what it's used for, but it doesn't have a lot of uses outside of what you can do with a modular bay. All right, from that, let's move on over to one of the newest ships, the Arrow. So the Arrow is actually one of the most recent ships. It is built during this light fighter craze of the late 2940s. So this craze was because the Gladius was getting rotated out as a main fighter for the UAE, and so a lot of Gladiuses were ending up in surplus, and a lot of people were purchasing them and finding that they really liked them. So a lot of other corporations were building light fighters. Drake built the Buccaneer, and Anvil built the Arrow. This is a unique ship because it swaps out the typical armor of a Anvil ship for maneuverability, but it does not skimp on firepower with 2 size 3 weapon hardpoints and 2 size 1 weapon hardpoints. But this was built in 2948 recently, so it's a fairly decent fighter for what it does, and it's fairly cheap for what it does as well. It's pretty popular. From that, let's go on over here and talk about the big behemoth in the room, the Carrick. Now, the Carrick is interesting. So the Carrick is another one of those we done messed up ships made by the UAE. The Carrick is built specifically because of a tragedy that occurred with a UAE capital ship. The UAE capital ship was sent out to do a science mission, to exploration, study an anomaly, but all hands would be lost. And there had been some debate up to that point if the military needed dedicated science vessels rather than using capital ships. And after the loss of the capital ship, they decided they were going to do so. But those in charge of the Navy were incredibly embarrassed by it, so they covered up the whole incident and gave a no-bid contract to Anvil to build them their science vessel, which became the Carrick. The Carrick was first introduced in high secrecy. It just shows up on the testing bases of the UAE, and a bunch of amateur observers see it and go, "What is this?" There were theories that it was a super doomsday weapon, like a major bomber, was what this was supposed to be. But when it turned out it was an exploration ship, a lot of surveyors and explorers wanted their hands on the Carrick because A, it's Anvil, which is pretty known for being rugged, a rugged design, and B, it had the same kind of design language as many other Anvil ships out there. And there hadn't really been really good dedicated explorers. But because of the cover-ups, the UAE denied Anvil's request to make civilian Carricks. As a result, the Carrick remained in military service exclusively for 100 years before it finally was being allowed to sold to the public. That's only because the admirals who were involved in the cover-up got found and fired, which allowed the Carrick to actually reach civilian service. But the real big thing about the Carrick is it's an exploration ship. To give you kind of concept on its range, it is the only ship to have reached the Oort cloud of the Killian system. And the Killian system is 194 astronomical units across. So, or big. So we're talking something that is about 4 times the length of the solar system. This is the only ship to have made it to the outer limits of that system and back. So without having to refuel. So this is a pretty beefy explorer. So if you're looking for an explorer ship and you have a lot of money, because this is also very expensive, this is a great ship. Now, the other big thing is why the Carrick is so important. It won Best in Show this year, but also because there is a new variant right here. This is the C8. The C8 is a bespoke snubcraft that was built specifically for the Carrick. The C8, which is over there as well, that's just kind of the regular C8, has a bit of a cargo bay, has some jump seats, and has a pilot. They've released a rescue variant of it here, which has a Tier 3 medical bed to act as kind of an ambulance. So that's got a lot of hubbub and buzz about the ship here today. From here, let's go on to the Hawk. So the Hawk is the result of Project Brawler. Now, Project Brawler had a unique concept. They wanted to make a ship that could be good at close-range dogfighting, ground support, and logistical support. Ground attack and logistical support. Which is an interesting combination, difficult to make. They went up against Aegis, but the thing that won the Hawk over the Aegis was that the Hawk was built with F7A Hornet parts. So there were already tons of equipment laying around and parts laying around to work with the Hawk. That were unique, not unique to Hawk, but could be found in the logistics train already. And the thing about the Hawk is that it's good. It's good at what it does, and that's it. It's terrible at everything else. It is a ground attack, close-range dogfighter that can do some logistical support, and that's it. And as a result, every time the Hawk is deployed to deal with threats for ground attack or close-range dogfighting or any kind of logistical support, the opponents realize what it is and just do not stay on the ground or don't get in close with the ship. They stay far away. So it's so good at its job that it does not, it gives itself out of the job. It kind of works itself out of the job entirely. But it has been discovered by the bounty hunters of the Star Citizen universe and is fairly popular bounty hunter ship as well. Because on the back here has been converted into a prisoner bay. You can put one prisoner in and lock them up and they cannot get out. So it allows for a little bit of transport. It also has a small EMP generator on it, and it has, I think, 4 size 2 or size 3 weapon hard points and 2 size 1s. So it's got some pretty beefy guns on it as well. There is also some aftermarket upgrade kits for the Hawk. One's called the Dire Hawk, which is an upgunned kit, and one called the Shadow Hawk, which is a stealth variant. At least the Dire Hawk has been discussed by Anvil to have gone into as a variant of the Hawk. But that is the U9 Hawk. Let's move on to the Hurricane, the OG Anvil ship. So, the Hurricane is the quintessential example of Anvil design. Every ship you've seen here has some element of this ship in it, and I'll show what you mean. First off, backswept wings. Almost all Anvil ships, even over here, the Carrick, has wings in some way, shape, or form. And at the very kind of center back, the kind of the center of mass, you always have a closed circlet. So this little circlet inside of a triangle, all of the Anvil ships have this design built into them in some way, shape, or form. Beyond being the blueprint for all Anvil ships, the Hurricane is famous because of Case Aerospace, as we talked about before. It was very good at defeating Tavaran targets, but it was reintroduced in 2871 because of the resurgent Vandul threat, and made a name for itself in the fall of Caliban by helping to clear out paths for civilian transports to escape. Since then, it has been used by militia and military alike. It's got 4 size 3 hard points on a turret up there, plus these are both size 4 guns. So you have a turret operator who can put out a lot of firepower. And it's a very fast ship. The best way to fly this ship is zoom and boom, but it definitely requires 2 people to get the most out of it. With that all done, let's head off to the other offerings of Anvil. Follow me. Let's go. Let's keep walking.
No running in the apex hole.
I'm running. It'd be cool if people shouted at you for running. All right. Let's start with the F8. Meet the future of spaceflight. So, the F8 Lightning is the evolution of the F7 Hornet. This ship is everything that Anvil has learned about fighting the Vandul, boiled down into a single expression of violence. It has... let me find my notes and I will tell you exactly how this works. It has 6 size 3, 2 size 4, with 2 size 3 missile mounts. This thing has more firepower than the Hurricane. And it's a single seater. Can all be used by the pilot. It has much more armor compared to a typical ship of its size, which means it can stay in a fight much longer. This thing is a beat stick. It is a flying, defense platform rather than a fighter. And that is why it is so effective and why the UE is kind of cycling out all of their older ships for the new F8s, but it takes a while for them to build. There is a civilian model that's coming out soon, but if you want to see it other than here on the floor, you'll see it whenever the Reckless 999 to do displays, usually at Invictus, you'll be able to see them fly their red-colored F8s. So, from one of the newest to another one of the older ones, the Valkyrie. Now, the Valkyrie's got an interesting story.
Can we sue them for not letting us rent that?
I don't think so. So the Valkyrie is an interesting story because originally the Valkyrie was designed with... It was designed before the UE needed it. In 2802, in the middle of the design of the Hornet, they were already looking at the next generation of ships that they wanted to build. They knew they wanted to get away from combat ships and do something more non-combat, so they went to a supercomputer on Terra and fed in a bunch of information about what other analysts had said about the future of UE military and asked the supercomputer what ship should they make. The supercomputer came back and said, you should make a heavy dropship because it's the one thing that the UE doesn't have. So they started developing the heavy dropship, and lo and behold, about 6 or 7 years later, the UE comes forward and says, hey, we need a design for a heavy dropship. So by the time the UE actually needed it, Anvil had not only concepted it, but had already made and prototyped it, so they could just show it to them, you mean this? Needless to say, they won the contract, and the Valkyrie has become the quote-unquote way to fly in the UE, Navy, and Army ever since. It's also gotten a lot of use out of prospector and exploration crews who like to use it because it can hold a lot of people. It can hold 40 people inside, plus a heavy vehicle. So you can move an entire survey crew fairly quickly from place to place with the Valkyrie without having to have specialized equipment or rigs or anything else like that. So, all right, with that, let's move on over to the final version. Oh, well, we'll talk about the Spartan real quick. This is the Atlas chassis. I'm not going to go into too depth about it because it's just not that important. The Atlas chassis was developed in 2822. And because Tumbrel was going out of business, which we'll talk about tomorrow, because Tumbrel was going out of, or Thursday, because Tumbrel was going out of business, they didn't really have the facilities to build ground vehicles, but the UAE needed ground vehicles for their new Army and Navy and Marines. So Anvil stepped forward and built a flexible modular chassis that they call the Atlas chassis. So this Atlas chassis is used for the Spartan, which is an armored personnel carrier, which you see have the upgraded guns on the top, plus I believe 8 seats. Yeah, 8 seats in the back. Driver. Then there's also 2 other versions, the Centurion and the Ballista, which we'll talk about here in a moment. But for now, let's go over and talk about the Hornets. Hornets plural. Yeah, the Valk's also great for archaeology. All right, y'all. This is the Hornet Room. Come follow me. We're going to go over to the F7A over here. $28.06. The UAE is looking to replace its Aegis Avenger. Aegis Avenger is a good ship, but they don't want to have anything to do with the Aegis brand anymore, so they're trying to replace everything. They asked a bunch of people to submit plans. Anvil, which had already made the Terrapin, submits their Hornet design, the F7 Hornet design, and it is accepted. Little did they realize that the F7 would be the future of all spaceship design and manufacturing, period. Because while the F7 was under development, many local militias and bounty hunters and mercenaries got wind of this new ship and requested Anvil make a version for the civilian market because of how popular the Terrapin was. Anvil asked the UAE if they could do so, and they gave them their consent. So the F7A and the F7C, the F7A being the military variant, the F7C being the civilian variant, were both started development almost the exact same time. So they came out at the same time too. This is the Mark II. The Mark I is not here, but the Mark II is one that was updated in 2923. This was, or no, 2948 was when this was updated to the modern standards. May have been 2946, I think, actually 2946. So this ship is more modern, but the older versions are still around and still in service as well. And the F7C was developed and became super popular. The thing you have to understand about the Hornet is that it is the most deadly space fighter in the history of humanity. It has more sorties and more kills in any theater, and more theaters than any other ship, period. This thing is a dangerous, dangerous weapon. And because it's been sold not only to military but also civilian markets, almost all military markets now, all military manufacturers now also sell civilian versions of their ship simply because of how successful it was. The Hornet made Anvil who they are today. So with that, let's look at some of the variants as well as the civilian version. This over here is the stealth version. This is the Ghost, the F7S Ghost. This has a paint that's painted on it, which kind of absorbs sensors and other readings to help keep it more stealthy. And it has stealth components installed as well, with its central area here being kind of removed that you normally see with other ships. From there, let's go to the Super Hornet here in the middle. The Super Hornet is the F7CM. This is a 2-seater variant of the Hornet that has up everything. This is the closest you're going to see the F7A outside of the S7A. This is the closest thing you're going to get from the civilian market. And it's very well liked by that. It's actually exclusively flown by the not exclusively anymore, but it was flown a lot by the Bremen Defense Force, who are the basis for the modern civilian defense force. Over here is the actual F7C, which is the basic version. This is the model that it was based off of the F7A. So if you look at this design here, this is what the original F7A looked more like. This sort of design. And it doesn't have it has a central turret, but it's replaced here with a cargo pod. So you can get your cargo in here. A little bit of cargo. Then lastly of the variants, the main variants, we have the tracker. So the F7CT tracker is a variant of the Hornet, which is designed as a scanning ship. It has this long eye radar on the middle here in the back, which serves to extend its radar range significantly. So it can be used as like a CNC ship or coordination ship, or even just long range observation if need be. This last one here is not actually a variant, but more of a standalone. It's part of the Masters of Flight series. This is, in the mid-28th century, a woman by the name of Aria Riley, famous ace pilot of Squadron 42, famously said that the Hornet was the best ship she had ever flown. She said that this thing, she had put it through so many tests to try to get it to fail, but no matter what she did, to put tests in, simulations and real life, no matter what she did to the ship, it would always come out. She famously said that the Hornet is cursed to succeed in anything it does. But because of her extensive use of the Hornet and her evangelical nature with the Hornet, the Anvil Aerospace created the Wildfire variants. This is the Anvil Wildfire, the Hornet Wildfire, which actually is just an F7C, but with the custom loadout of Aria Riley. This is her all-purpose loadout, is what you would call it. From the Hornets, let's go talk about the future of Anvil and a little bit more about the Atlas chassis. No, you can't rent the F7A. Now, brain overheating is what's happening. It's super hot in here right now. And I'm working off of very little sleep. Alrighty.
I just got run over. Can somebody guard my body?
Somebody just died.
I don't know where you are. I don't know what's going on.
Somebody's on the stairs and just lay down flat.
I don't see that. I don't see that person because I'm in the party. So
that was me.
Someone go guard the body.
Told you, no running in the halls.
Death untoward happens.
People think they aren't gonna
All right. So, this is the Ballista. This is another Atlas chassis. It's designed as an anti-air defense platform with missiles. The thing about the Ballista is that it's not just an anti-air defense. You can actually use this as a missile artillery if you like to, and it's fairly effective at its job. These missiles, as of right now, if you fire them at a target which is under, I believe, 2 kilometers, they cannot evade them. It is too fast. They come in too fast for them to evade. And it's almost impossible to see these things when they're on the ground if you're using sensors. They have very low profile. So they're very good at air defense, which is why not only do we have the Ballista, but we have the Centurion. So the Centurion here is similar to the Ballista, but it has a better, I think it has better ground targets here. I think this gun up here is a little bit better, but it also has these anti-air guns because it's almost impossible to see. These are size 4s. 4 size 4s. So it has a massive amount of firepower. You could park this outside of, I don't know, Jumptown or another location and lock it down for a very long time if you can put it in the right position without much air support at all. So that is the Atlas chassis. I expect to see more from the Atlas chassis as we go forward, but that's all we have for now. From there, let's look at the concept ships, the ships that are not quite on the floor yet, but will be in the future. All right, so this is the Crucible, the flying toolbox. This is a mobile garage. The center right there, that part right there, is known as the Scarab. Not only can it repair ships that are landed in it, but you can detach it and leave it behind to repair on its own. But these arms all have arms inside of them that work as mobile kind of stripping and refinishing, and they're repair arms. This ship is designed to fly alongside fleets and help them repair not only bigger fleets, but also smaller ships. It's a flying garage if you want to do any kind of major repairs. It can do everything from everything a dock can do, effectively, as long as they have the resources. Then we have the Valkyrie. This is part transport, or part landing craft, part carrier. It has 3 extra small or extra small.
Liberator.
Did I say Valkyrie?
Yes.
Yeah, well, that's because Anvil sucks at the naming schemes, because you have the Valkyrie Liberator as well. So Liberator. This is the Liberator, which is part dropship, part landing craft, part carrier. So it has 3 XL pads on it, plus a hangar which can hold up to, or a garage that can hold up to 2 tanks, or even snub ships. So it's a very effective tool for transport. I think they classify it as a light transport more than anything, but it also has guns and crew members, so it's designed to transport into combat zones. Then lastly, we have the newest offering from Anvil, the Legionnaire. So the Legionnaire is an interesting combination. It can hold 8 angry Marines and breach doors with either hacking, it has a dedicated hacker seat, but it also has an armory, including breaching charges that it can use. This thing is designed to quickly go into a ship that is not expecting it, dock suddenly, and disgorge its cargo and get out. It's used by the UE Marines extensively, but it is still in concept for us civilians. So that's the Valkyrie.
What if the Marines aren't angry? How many can fit inside then?
Probably 20. If they're not angry. Angry Marines are pretty big. Alrighty. So that is the floor, the Anvil floor here at IAE 2952. Hopefully that helps you out a little bit, give you some context for some of these ships and a little bit of lore. If you want a more extensive look at some of this lore, you can check out the Astro Historian, where I do the similar thing, but I'm doing all of the deep lore of everything, so you can give a better idea, a little bit more professionally done, more edited and such. And yeah, if you enjoyed this, please do join us live on the floor tomorrow or any other day during the sale at 3 p.m. Eastern. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, hit those sorts of buttons. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts on these ships in the comments below. Thank you for these folks who are joining us here live on the floor. And like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black. No, I do mean extra small, because that's what it says. It's XXS. That's what the page says. Not extra small. Not extra small, but extra small.
Did anyone loot my body, by the way?
There's people who just dropped a bunch of stuff down here, but I don't think so. There's an undersuit. Thank you all for joining.
Want some vests?
Oh, is it 2 extra small and 1 extra small? You have vests? I'll pick them up later when it's not super, like, problematic right now.
Yeah, I'll hit you up tomorrow.
All right, y'all. I'm going to go. No, I can't get some sleep. I got other things to do, Shark Bite. I'm not sleeping all this week because I got too many things to do. But thank you all for joining us. I'm going to call it a day. I'll be back tomorrow, and we'll be doing this and then some 40K. Thank you for watching, and like I say every time, hope to see you someday in the black.